Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on March 28th, 2013. And to be honest with you, this week's edition of Impact, honestly, I felt was rather bad. Not in the terms of match quality, because I think I've said this enough in past reviews. Match quality in TNA is usually quite good, and this week's was a very good example of that. The match with Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez versus Bad Influence, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, was a very, very good tag team match. Good way of opening, or good, opening match for the show. The fact that they used it as a #1 contenders match for the tag team titles made me think that they were actually going to go with Christopher Daniels and Kazarian in this one, because I feel like they've actually run their course with Chavo and Hernandez versus Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, but obviously in this case I was completely wrong. They decided to go that route. A little bit disappointing, but once again, fun match to watch, and you'll probably get another really good match with Hernandez and Chavo and Roode and Aries again when they decide to do it, which I believe is in a couple weeks at their next live event. So all in all, for that, again, good match. Another match that came off really good was the Jeff Hardy Mr. Anderson match. The match, like I was thinking, is it had good spots, good timing, good pacing. Match quality wise, TNA is really good. Now with the Mr. Anderson Hardy match, albeit good match and good promo by Mr. Anderson in the back when he was when he was amping himself up. The promo at the beginning when Hardy is coming out and says he's going to call someone out, and Aces and Eights come out, and this will eventually lead to him challenging Aces and Eights. This is where I felt was not a very good segment. It felt drawn out. It felt like it was going on longer than it should have. There's very few times, especially recently, that I would say Bully Ray was bad on the mic, but in this segment in general, he was bad on the mic in my mind. The same with Mr. Anderson too. It just didn't come off as anything genuine in any way, shape, or form. It felt like they were just out there going through the motions throughout that segment. And that's just on my own personal opinion in this. Again, you also got a little bit more development towards the Tara Terrell and Gail Kim storyline. Honestly, with the show format, the way they were going, it being open fight night and everything, you had Gail Kim, she came out and everything, but they didn't actually have the match. Same with James Storm and AJ Styles as well. James Storm calls out AJ Styles, but you don't really get anything out of it outside of what you've seen over the last few weeks. And then eventually Aces and Eights attack James Storm, bringing down Kurt Angle and Eric Young. That led to that 6-man tag match, which was an okay match. A few little botches here and there, but nothing too overly bad in that match as well. But they promoted the show as open fight night. Now, usually you do get that one person that doesn't actually answer the challenge in any way, shape, or form. It just leads to some kind of beatdown. But, using it multiple times on the same show doesn't really come off as all that good, and it actually kind of ruins the concept in my mind. And in that aspect, just because, it makes it feel like, oh, I've been called out and challenged, but you didn't really have to do the match in any way, shape, or form. I would have been better off with them actually starting the matches in some way, shape, or form, and then just end them in disqualification or something in that sense, so you don't really end the feud, but you at least get some kind of match out of it. Now, honestly, probably my favorite segment of the show, and like I said, this show I don't feel like was all that great, but this segment was pretty good. It was the Hulk Hogan and Sting segment. Just the aspect of, Hogan saying he doesn't want to see Sting in the backstage just leads to Sting calling out Hogan, Hogan calling out, Sting again trying to apologize, and just eventually leading to this, confrontation of words between them that made Hogan, actually kicks staying out of the impact zone or out of the arena. It really came off. It really came off well for me. You could definitely tell. You could definitely still feel the tension between the two of them in this storyline, and hopefully they can continue it. I don't really want to see it end in a match between them, but it would be interesting to see if they actually lead it into where they either make up somehow in the end, or one of the two of them turns heel at some point in time. So it would be nice. It would be nice to see where they actually go with that. But overall, I felt this Impact, it wasn't all that great. It wasn't all that great. It was not. It was actually quite bad in my mind. You didn't have anything with the X Division after they introduced last week with the whole triple threat area, the whole triple threat, all matches triple threat with the X Division. You did get a little bit of it, them basically announcing the match for the next week, but you would have figured they would have tried something with the X Division in this sense. On Open Fight Night, you could have gotten one of the guys call out two others to do a triple threat match, but you have to wait till the next week to actually see something with the X Division in any way, shape, or form. I wish they would have done something more there. But yeah, like I said, I just didn't feel like this Impact Wrestling this week was all that great. Now, not to go off and say that maybe next week's will be bad either, because I don't think it will. Because if you've known their new format, they do one show live, then they tape the next one afterwards. So you figure if they don't have that good of writing here, are they going to have that good of writing for the next show? And that's all you really have to say about that is, you wait to see what you see on the show and I'll see how I feel and how I feel about next week's show. But this week's wasn't good. Hopefully next week's will be a lot better. And that's my review this week for TNA Impact Wrestling. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.